Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and I am so glad for this opportunity to be with you. Today on the program, we are really focusing on one major subject as we get through the next 30 minutes, and that's to look at our senior citizens. We're coming up on Older Adults Awareness Month, the month of May. This show being taped in April, but it's okay. We know that we'll probably see it in May as well, a little bit. And so we wanted to be able to share some information that hopefully families who have elders living with them or who are still living and perhaps in their own home but who need some assistance, some information, that you'll tell them about what you hear today and what you learn today watching this program. And if you are an elder yourself, a seasoned citizen, we welcome you, and we certainly hope the information that we are about to present will be very, very helpful to you. So we have Wendy Bookler with us, Legal Director for Senior Law Center. And we have Cateria McCabe with us as well, a staff attorney for the Senior Law Center. So we thank you all for joining us, and we will talk to our guest at length in just a moment. We want you to stay along as we go forward with this edition of News You Can Use. And here we go. Now, if you just turned your television set on, let me just tell you again that we're talking about the Senior Law Center today. And it's really our sincere effort to help educate senior citizens, or our seasoned citizens, and people who have senior citizens in their lives who have some legal issues or questions that they may want to ask about. So we want you to know everything that you can possibly know about the Senior Law Center. So to join me in that conversation right now, we have Wendy Bookler, who is the legal director for the Senior Law Center. Thank you for coming today.
And thank you for having us.
And we have Cateria McCabe, who is my sister friend and also a staff attorney with the Senior Law Center. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yes. So I guess I'll start with you. Ms. Bookler, tell us a little bit of background about the Senior Law Center. Like, how long have you all been around?
So Senior Law Center was formed in 1978. We're coming up soon on our 40th anniversary, which is pretty amazing. It's a long life for a nonprofit, particularly in legal services, which, as you know, is a difficult area to fund.
Yes.
And we started as a very small organization formed through the Philadelphia Bar Association, and then we became an independent nonprofit, and we've been thriving ever since.
Well, I am so glad that you all were founded. Whoever came up with the idea, 3 cheers for them. I imagine that certainly there's probably any number of seniors in our population in Philadelphia and around the state who are elderly, who might not have the wherewithal, the money, the finances to pay a big shot downtown center city attorney if they have some legal issues or questions. And so coming to the Senior Law Center, that means that they don't have to dig so deep in their pocket?
All our services are free, and we're very fortunate to have generous donors and funders that enable us to provide these services for free. We have a very high incidence of elders in our population, both in Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia. We're getting older by the minute.
Yes, yes. And that's why these issues are so important to me now. I'm getting older by the minute, and I need to know what's available for me, where I can get help if I need it. With our seniors, I imagine there's any number of issues that might be of concern to them, but I'm thinking about things like maybe a will, if they never prepared one, perhaps trying to negotiate through selling their property because they want to downsize. Or maybe, just maybe, it might be some elder abuse going on and they want to know, do I have any legal rights, or can my son or my daughter just take my check every month? So talk me through this, the both of you. What kind of questions or issues come up most often?
So Thera, we try to focus on seniors who are in crisis, seniors who could be losing their homes because of foreclosure, who are, as you said, victims of elder abuse, domestic violence. We try to keep people in tax programs so that they can afford to pay their taxes and not lose their homes. We try to protect them from scammers, from financial exploitation, which seniors are so often subject to. And then we do the important things like help people with their planning documents so that as they are aging, they're not going to be so subject to prey by other people. So we'll help them do a will or a power of attorney so that someone who they trust and that know will care for them can help them through that aging process.
Okay. Now, Cateria, I know we had an opportunity to have you on the radio with us recently as well, and thank you for that. Great job.
Yes, it was my pleasure. Thank you.
But there are so many challenges with our seniors, and I was sharing with you on the radio show that a while ago I had what I thought was a wonderful assignment traveling around the state of Pennsylvania, educating about elder abuse and handing out postcards at churches and recreation centers and other places where people might gather to make for sure that populations across the Keystone State were aware that there is help out there. If you are a senior and you're being abused or somebody is taking your check or denying you of food or just denying you the regular freedoms that you would normally have, that there is a recourse and there's something that you can do. But I guess my point of concern is that sometimes these seniors are so overwhelmed by these people who are taking over their life and saying, no, you can't go out today, or no, you can't open your mail, excuse me. How does a senior get to dial the number for help with Senior Law Center or an elder abuse hotline number to say, help, I need help?
Well, similar to your experience, in addition to providing direct legal representation, we also do community outreach so that we can get the word out. We can prepare seniors as well as those who care about them and love them what to expect, what to prepare for. We have a line that they can call, and also we have not just the Philadelphia local number, we have a line that people can call throughout the Commonwealth. It's our senior law helpline, which is an 800 number, toll free, that if you're a senior age 60 or over, you can call that telephone number anywhere in the Commonwealth.
Okay, and so please put that number out if you have it with you, if you know it by heart. If not, we'll pull it up and come back to it in the second portion of the show.
Okay, we'll have to do that.
Okay, we'll come back in the, that's all right. We'll come back in the second portion of the show. But then the next thing that I wanted to know, so when seniors come to you, they might not be as good at keeping records of stuff. And so when you come to the law office, you want, Social Security number and whatever other information you need to help guide them through whatever their issue might be. But if they don't have all of their documents in order, how do you get your job done?
We're able to walk them through the process of what they need to gather to help us represent them. And in addition to that, many records are public. There could be a deed on record that we can get from City Hall. If it's a mortgage issue, we can get information from their lender. We could be getting information from the courts, for instance, for a landlord-tenant or cases like that. So there are avenues to get the documents that we need to help them.
Okay, so if a senior suddenly finds out my nephew's name is on my mortgage, on my deed to my house, I don't remember doing that. I don't remember giving them permission, and they then come to you. So.
We do get these kinds of cases, deed fraud cases, and fortunately the city of Philadelphia has put some measures in place to try to protect that. So if a deed is recorded and then a letter is sent to the homeowner to alert them to the fact that a deed has been recorded against their property. And we have many people who will call us in that situation and say, I didn't transfer my deed. And then we're able to help them to process a reverse of that transaction.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we see these cases when the senior could be losing mental capacity, that whether they have dementia or just are aging and don't remember things so well. That can be the time when, whether it's a caregiver or a family member that takes advantage. We have a case recently where a senior doesn't leave the home, doesn't leave the home at all, and a neighbor noticed that and saw and went and recorded the deed, transferring ownership to himself. So we see these cases, they're very sad, and fortunately we are able to help.
So when the Senior Law Center comes in to look at this kind of situation, you've been able to turn some things around in the cases of some of our seniors who are being taken advantage of?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling for a senior to realize that there's someone out there who cares about them deeply and is able to reverse a horrible situation where someone's taken advantage of them.
And so when a senior comes to your office, are there specific kinds of things that you tell them in advance you need to bring with you so that they can be as prepared as possible? Because again, with seniors, transportation, getting around might be an issue. So when they come, you want them to, have the benefit of bringing everything with them that they could possibly bring at that time?
Well, when we make the contact, we can send them a letter detailing the information that we would need them to send in. And that gives us an opportunity to review it in advance before they would even come in for an appointment once contacted by an attorney.
Okay.
So because mobility is an issue for seniors, we do a lot of our intake work on the phone.
Great.
So we don't make them come in unless we have to have them come in. This way they're able to find out what they need in advance and come prepared.
Okay. Now, in our next segment, when we come back from break, we do want to sort of focus in on veterans a little bit and some of the issues and concerns that they may have. So we will get to that in the next segment. But as we wrap up on this first part, is there anything else that each of you might want to add that I might have missed in terms of asking you?
So I would like to say that we have a number of community clinics throughout the city where people can come and speak to a lawyer and do their intake there. And they can go to our website, www.seniorlawcenter.org, and find a list of those clinics so that they're able to come and meet. So they don't have to come into the city. That's one opportunity. And we have we're going to talk about veterans soon. Several of those clinics are special clinics just for veterans.
Okay.
So we do 8 every month.
Okay. All right. And anything else that you want to add before we take a quick break and we'll come back and talk vets?
I just hope people take advantage. We have lots to offer.
All righty. We're talking about the Senior Law Center in today's edition of News You Can Use. And when we come back, we are going to take a look at our senior citizens who are veterans and find out what kinds of services are available for them. But certainly a message to any seniors who might be watching the program right now. If you have some legal issues, some things that are tossing around in your head that you know you need to address, we want you to not hesitate. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to call the professional attorneys who are part of the Senior Law Center. Last question I'll ask before we go to break. Once you become a senior citizen and you're retired, you're not working anymore, do you still have to file taxes?
It depends on what your income is. You may. It depends.
But if you're low income?
Most of the time not. But you could have a pension that would put you over the limit to require the filing of taxes.
All right. And to be considered a senior citizen, you got to be 60 years old, and you have to be at least 60 in order to get services from Senior Law Center, correct?
Yes, age 60 or above.
Okay, because I was thinking like 65 was that senior citizen.
It's a little scary to feel that 60 is a senior citizen, isn't it?
No, it's right.
It's defined by the Older Americans Act, and that's why we choose that number.
All right. Well, I thank you, ladies, for getting us started in this first segment. We'll come back and we'll talk some more. Don't you all go anywhere. And to our viewing audience, you don't go anywhere either. We'll be back as we talk some more about the Senior Law Center and what they have to offer. Stay with us.
You are now watching LaSalle TV.
We are back now. If you just turned your television set on and you're a senior, oh my goodness, don't worry, this program will be back on again. But today on our program, we dedicated the whole show really to talk about senior citizens and the Seniors Law Center here in Philadelphia, there to help you if you're the age of 60 or older and you're low income and you're having some challenges with some legal issues, or you're just not sure about something, you want to make for sure it's correct, you want to talk to a certified attorney, and so then you want to contact the Senior Law Center. And I have two wonderful people in the studio to tell us all about it. We have the legal director with us today, Wendy Bookler is here, and we also have the staff attorney with us, Cateria or McCabe here. Thank you, ladies, both of you, for being here today.
Certainly, it's our pleasure.
Before we go any further, let me get that phone number out there. Please say it twice where people can call the Senior Law Center.
So let me explain that we have a statewide helpline, which is not income-based. So anyone with a legal question throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania can call 1-877-PASR-LAW. So 1-877-PA Senior Law. And they can get information, advice, and referral on any civil legal issue. Okay. So it's a great opportunity for people who just have a question and can't maybe live in a rural area where they have no access to an attorney. They can call and get some assistance through us.
And that number was on the bottom of our screen as you were saying it, so to our viewing audience, I believe that should be helpful to you as well. And then there's a second number also.
So in Philadelphia, our intake line is 215-988-1242, and that line is open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 a.m. until noon.
Okay.
So they can call if it's an emergency. There's a special number they can press so that we make certain to call them back very quickly. If it's a domestic violence issue, then it gets special treatment. So we've been able to triage things so that we can help people with the most urgent issues most quickly.
Now, before we talk about our veterans and the services that you have for them, I want to backtrack to our last segment, and when you mentioned that you do some community clinics. Yes. And I was wondering, like the time of day that those clinics happen, how often they happen, and if seniors want to know when there's going to be one near them, how should they find out for those who don't have internet accessibility?
They can call our helpline and we can tell them that information. Okay. We have 8 community clinics per month, and they're held at different senior centers around. And I don't want to give the names right now because sometimes they change, and we're actually in the process of. But definitely they should call us, and we're able to tell them if they can go on the internet, then they can go to our website, www.seniorlawcenter.org, and get information on those clinics. And then we're also in the community doing outreaches. We'll come out and do educational programs on things like how to transfer the ownership of your home, or how to do a will, or how to top 10 tips for homeowners, what to do if you're sued in landlord-tenant court, information about grandparent custody cases. So we have a wide variety of services, and we can provide information.
Reverse mortgages. I keep hearing, oh, that's a bad thing, and senior citizens beware, and these real estate types, they want to get your property, so don't sign anything having to do with documents for reverse mortgage. What has been your experience with reverse mortgages and our seniors?
Well, I would say we don't tell people that they should or should not, but we do have 2 sheets. One is a fact sheet about reverse mortgages, and the other one is pitfalls to look out for with regard to reverse mortgages. So we don't tell you you should or should not, because that's a financial decision that the senior would make, him or herself, but we do want them to make sure that they make an educated decision before entering into a reverse mortgage.
Don't sign anything until you've looked over it very, very carefully, and better yet, let a professional, an attorney, look over any kind of legal paperwork when it comes to something like that. Would I be saying that right to a senior?
Well, it's certainly important that anyone who's considering a reverse mortgage go through the counseling process that's required before you can sign. The cases that we see, and the numbers have been increasing over the last several years, are those where the people really didn't understand that they were essentially giving away their home in exchange for taking out the equity. And for some people that works really well, but for most people they just don't understand that at the end of the day they may have been able to stay in their homes longer, but there's no home left to leave to their children when they pass. Or we have cases which are very upsetting cases where some of the lenders get together with contractors who will come in and say, oh, we can build you a brand new kitchen and it won't cost you a penny. And so someone signs a reverse mortgage. Right. It sounds
Flashing
too
lights
good,
go
it
off
is
right
too
there to
good.
me. Oh no.
Yes, so we
it won't
see
cost me a
cases.
penny.
Right. So we see cases like that, and they're very sad cases.
So now, so in a case like that, a contractor comes in, new kitchen, we'll build it for you, won't cost you anything, and then the senior says, okay, and then they get into it and suddenly get a big bill?
So what happens is often the contractor will either take the money and never show up or do shoddy workmanship, and they're left in worse shape than they were before they came in. And then they're left with a reverse mortgage. So occasionally we're able to sue the contractor, sue the lender, and recover some money for the seniors. But there can be some really sad endings.
Sometimes the seniors lose out. Sometimes the seniors lose out.
Yes.
And that sounds so sad. Yeah. Okay, so we appreciate all that information you just gave, and I'm sure there's probably tons more, but we'll move a little bit over to the subject of our veterans, another subject that is near and dear to my heart. I am an Army brat through and through, born on an Army base, Fort Benning, Georgia. Hey. And I love my armed forces, be that Army, Navy, Air Force, whomever. I just take pride in all of them for having the guts to stand up and say, okay, I'm going to help protect our nation and I'm going to go serve. I mean, I hold those people in the highest of esteem, and it hurts my heart when you hear stories about veterans coming back home and they can't get a place to live, a decent place. They can't get a decent job. They're fighting for health care sometimes, and for so many other things, and it just breaks my heart, whether they're seniors or not. But I know we're talking about seniors right now, so tell us about seniors and veterans and some of the things and challenges that they face and why they end up coming to Senior Law Center.
Certainly. Well, we're very excited that we have a wonderful project for veterans, and again, age 60 and over, and or their widows or widowers who are victims of crime, and also family members who are seniors again, age 60 and over, and it's for civil cases, whether it's in housing, be it landlord-tenant, or as we were discussing, reverse mortgages, family cases with custody, personal planning documents, of course, veterans benefits, and other non-criminal civil cases. And it's been wonderful because I'm a veteran also, Army, and so while I have love for all of the services, I must say I'm partial because I'm an Army veteran, and it has been wonderful to be able to reach out and help in these areas because, to your point previously, seniors can be victimized, veterans are also targeted, and so we're able to serve both populations.
So if a veteran feels that they're not getting the right amount of monthly benefits, let's say, that they should receive, and they've gone to the VA and they've, come up against a brick wall at the VA and they're saying, nope, you can't get no more, that's it. Then they can come and try to have you take a look and see what's going on, or someone at the Senior Law Center?
That's correct. There is an appeals process, and they would call the same number that we talked about previously. I'm sorry, that would be our helpline that we talked about previously. But for us to provide direct legal representation, you would have to be a Philadelphia resident. So a Philadelphia veteran age 60 and above would be able to receive services. That telephone number is 215-988-1242. And the veterans can call Monday through Thursday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. And they'll be able to have intake process and speak with an attorney about their legal issue. In addition to the veterans, like I said, veterans benefits, family issues, landlord-tenant, reverse mortgages, other housing issues.
Okay, so give that number again for veterans to call.
Certainly. It's the same intake number, 215-988-1242. 8242. And that's Monday through Thursday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.
What's the address for the Senior Law Center? I don't think we put that out there yet.
So we're located at 2 Penn Center, which is 15th and JFK Boulevard, right across the street from Love Park, which is under construction right now. Very centrally located, so easy to reach through public transportation. And we're on the 15th floor there.
Okay, so the phone number, that toll-free number one more time for anybody who may get a hold of this outside the state, because these programs go on YouTube also, so people really do get to see it.
That number is 1-877-PA-SR-LAW, so PA Senior Law.
Okay, in 30 seconds or less, a pitch for seniors to call if they need help with legal issues.
Anytime. We're happy to help people through their process. We want to be able to help people. We are thrilled to be able to provide these services, and please call us.
All right, ladies, to both of you, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate the information
Certainly,
that you have
her
shared
pleasure.
today.
Great seeing you.
You have been a great help.
Thank you so
and we
much.
hope the seniors will take heed and dial up the Senior Law Center if they need some legal help. Very, very good. And now to our viewing audience, for those of you who are planning on voting in the upcoming primary election, it is on Tuesday, April the 26th. And so we want to just let you know that there's a number of seats that are up for grabs. Who's running for office in the Tuesday, April the 26th election? Well, everyone knows, I think, that it is a presidential election year, but what about other offices that are up for grabs? Okay. I'll make this as simple as I possibly can. Let me start at the top of the ticket as best I can. Here's who's running for president. On the Republican ticket, we have, of course, Ted Cruz, and then we have, he's a U.S. Senator from Texas. We have Donald Trump. Everybody knows Donald is running, and his claim to fame is that he is the chairman and president of the Trump Organization. And there's John Kasich, the governor of Ohio, who is running for president at this time. Then on the Democratic side, the candidate list seems to be shrinking a little bit. We've got Hillary Clinton, who's running, and she's a former U.S. Secretary of State, and of course, the former First Lady. And then we have Bernie Sanders, who is currently a U.S. Senator. And don't forget about the other candidates that are running in the election, the third-party candidates for president. We have several names up for grabs, but the truth of the matter is those candidates have a slim chance of winning because that's just the American way, it seems. There's Republicans, there's Democrats, and they're at the top of the ticket. So then, let's take a look at what's happening here in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, there are 2 seats in the U.S. Senate that are up for grabs. All 18 Pennsylvania seats in the U.S. House of Representatives are up for grabs, and the race for other seats in Pennsylvania are looking kind of interesting too. There's a real hot contested race with Congressman Shaka Fattah, who is running and for re-election, of course, and his biggest opponent is State Representative Dwight Evans. And these are 2 men who've been friends and have worked on the same side for many things, but on this issue, they are in separate camps altogether, both Democrats, and we'll see who will come out on top. There's a couple of other names in that race as well, but the 2 strongest names and the ones that seem to have the most numbers are Congressman Shaka Fattah and State Representative Dwight Evans, and this is for the re-election of Shaka Fattah in the 2nd Congressional District, or the election of Dwight Evans or one of the other candidates. And then as we look in the 190th Legislative District, State Representative Vanessa Lowry Brown, she is up for re-election, and she has the strongest opponent that we have been hearing the name of very often in this last few weeks is Wanda Logan, who's running against her, both Democratic women. But Vanessa Lowry Brown is looking at some legal charges that she's got to navigate through as well. So we'll see how that comes out. And people are definitely looking at that race very closely. In the U.S. Senate race, it's also a highly contested race this time around with 3 well-known names running. There's the incumbent, Senator Pat Toomey, Joe Sestak, who is a former congressman and a retired admiral. And then also we have Katie McGinty, who is running, a former chief of staff for Governor Tom Wolf, and John Fetterman, who is running. That's going to be an interesting race to watch. Whatever you do, everybody, get out and vote on Election Day. Tuesday, April the 26th. The polls open at 8 a.m. They close at 7 p.m. Get out and vote like your life depends on it, because indeed it does. And we encourage you to do the right thing on Election Day. Thank you for checking us out on this edition of News You Can Use. Make sure you keep your dial where it is. We've got more great programming coming your way from LaSalle TV. Have a good one.